Namaste. Today is Hanuman Jayanti, and so I want to wish each one of you a very happy Hanuman Jayanti. Hanuman Jayanti means the birthday of Lord Hanuman. And on birthday, you should never fast. Instead, you celebrate birthdays. So, my suggestion to each one of you is to not to fast, but to celebrate the birthday of Hanuman. The subject of this podcast is also connected with Hanuman because Ketu is dashing, dynamic, and Ketu can jump first and think later. Ketu has all those qualities of Lord Hanuman. Ketu is highly devoted. Ketu can surrender completely at the feet of the Master. And so it is a coincidence that today, on such a beautiful, auspicious day of Lord Hanuman Jayanti, I am talking on the subject of Ketu, the divine energy that enables you to walk on the spiritual path. That is why Ketu is always said to be the right hand of the Guru. Without Ketu, Guru cannot operate, Guru cannot bring that beautiful transformation. So the right hand of the Guru is always Ketu. If you have a positive Ketu in your chart, and if most of your planets are either connected with Ketu or they are placed in the nakshatra of Ketu, then I must say, although you may have gone through many sufferings, but still I will say that you are truly the blessed one. Because always remember, in comfort zones, nothing grows. It is only when there is suffering that you start growing in the true sense. It is only when the thorn goes deep into your heart that you awake. And that is why Ketu and Ketu's all three nakshatras, Ashwini, Magha and Mula, all three are beautiful. In fact, a woman born in Magha, Mula or Ashwini gets all those fighting abilities. And so if she is in some trouble, or if there are certain sufferings or certain unfortunate events in her life, even then she can fight back and she can again rise and again attain all that what she has lost. Why? Because of the power, the fighting power of Mula, Magha and Ashwini. So in fact, a woman born in these three nakshatras, actually it becomes a great asset. But local pandits have created so much fear of Ketu and Ketu's nakshatras that people many a times fall in these wrong traps. If you have a daughter born in Ketu's nakshatra, or if you have a son born in Ketu's nakshatra, then I must say that you are fortunate. Because your son or your daughter is not going to remain in that comfort zone. He or she is not going to be that typical mummy, daddy. They will grow fast, they will mature fast, they will evolve fast. And that is the whole purpose of life. Your inner growth is the real growth. And so there are many more things about this beautiful nakshatras that belong to Ketu. And in this podcast, I have shared about Magha, Mula and Ashwini. I have talked about their specialties. So tune in and understand more about these three nakshatras, Ashwini, Magha and Mula. So let's begin. Ashwini falls in Aries. In Aries, Ketu is in the mood of fighting battles. Ketu is action oriented here. Ketu is rough, rash driving, and all sorts of adventures. In Aries, Ketu takes action first and then thinks later. In a spiritual point of view, such a person is always welcomed by the master because that is exactly what the master wants, a disciple who is ready to jump first and think later. Or to put it in Sant Kabir's words, a man who is ready to cut his head, meaning drop his logic, such a man is always welcomed. Kabir says, only that man can join him who is ready to cut his head, meaning who is ready to drop all his intellectualism and logic. Peter the fisherman must have been a Ashwini Ketu man because he meets Jesus for the very first time in his life. He is not even aware who Jesus is, but he could see that there is something divine in the eyes of Jesus. And so when Jesus says, "Follow me, I will make you the fisher of men," Peter the fisherman simply drops everything and starts following Jesus. He is not even bothered about his business. He simply jumps into the unknown and becomes an ardent follower of Jesus. Ashwini is just like this. This Ketu nakshatra of Ashwini is actually a very clean-hearted and highly adventurous by nature. Ashwini brings a certain innocence which attracts the blessings of the Guru. Always remember, innocence is the door. Through innocence, you enter into beauty. The more innocent you become, the more existence becomes beautiful. Do you know why Lord Shiva loves Nandi so much? Nandi is a bull, and the most striking quality of a bull is his innocence. Lord Shiva is the epitome of innocence. That is why he is also addressed as Bhole Baba, meaning the innocent master. And Nandi, the bull, is also very innocent. Look at his dedication towards Shiva. He is always found facing the Shiva Lingam, always meditating on the name of Shiva. Innocence comes only to a man who is walking on the spiritual path with absolutely no agenda. Ashwini is just like that. Ketu's Ashwini has absolutely no agenda. It's like a wild child. It can simply strike just the way a missile strikes. The missile never decides on whom to strike. Similarly, Ketu's Ashwini never has its own say. It is always led by others who try to manipulate or direct them. Depending on the quality of the chart, this Ashwini missile will strike. It can strike gold, or it can also strike people and cause much bloodshed. So in Ashwini, Ketu's avatar is of Lord Shiva in his Tandav avatar. Magha falls in Leo, a sign of glamour and power. Here Ketu is well settled and loves to operate in a commanding position. Either this can lead to a commanding chief or a great spiritual master who has mastered himself. Magha is where the intelligence of Ketu shines forth. Ketu is the very source of intelligence because Ketu pulls you inwards. Your inward journey begins only by the grace of the Guru, who uses the energy of Ketu to initiate you on the Buddha path, the spiritual path. And so Magha is indeed the most intelligent nakshatra of all 27 nakshatras, and that is why it is also referred as the seat of supreme power. Power dwells only where divine intelligence dwells. Intelligence is power, and that's Magha. The nakshatra of Ketu is directly connected with the sign of authority, Leo. When Sun and Ketu are positive in the chart, then Magha can bring much fame and power in life. Magha is a real taskmaster. Magha becomes the seat of Ketu where he sits and then he does what he is best at. And that is the evolution of spiritualism. Here the spirituality of Ketu evolves. Magha's intelligence finds the limelight and brings recognition in society. Leo is a sign of intelligence, divine intelligence. Leo is directly connected with the heart, and intelligence is born in your heart. Aquarius is a sign of intellectuality. In the sign of Leo, Ketu's nakshatra, Magha is found, the seat of intelligence, and one who is intelligent is the real king. In the sign of Aquarius, Rahu's nakshatra, Shatabhisha is found. The seat of intellectualism is Shatabhisha, and one who is intellectual remains far away from the ultimate consciousness. Always remember, intellectualism blocks your inner growth. Intelligence is of the heart. Leo is the sign of heart, and it is in Leo that Ketu has a very prominent role to play through his nakshatra Magha. Intellectualism is of the head. Aquarius is the sign of head, and it is in Aquarius that Rahu has a very prominent role to play through his nakshatra Shatabhisha. The beginning happens through Ashwini. The real work, spiritual progress happens through Magha. Magha therefore remains a highly transformative nakshatra. Much happens through Magha. Mula nakshatra is the highest peak of Ketu. Here Ketu is simply not interested in silly adventures and power games. Rather, here Ketu is interested in exploring the higher meaning of life. And higher meaning of life is realized only when you go through the fire of suffering. And so suffering has a noble purpose, the evolution of consciousness and the burning up of the ego. And that's why Mula have to become a strict master who would make you go through all kind of difficult exams just so that you evolve to greater heights of consciousness and your ego is burned up totally. Mula therefore is the highest nakshatra because nobody would like to do such a tough job which Mula does, the job of making you suffer so that you evolve and come face to face with the reality of life. Common people, shallow people, less evolved souls fear Mula because they want a typical comfortable life. Mummy, mummy, daddy, daddy, and all those
beautiful homes, and all those comfort zones. They forget the fact that nothing ever grows in comfort zones. If you see back in the history, then you will find that all great men and women have had to go through many sufferings. They never had the comfort zones and the red carpet treatment. They had to make their own way. They had to make their own mark in this human world. Mula is therefore also called as the cutting machine because it simply cuts all that which is unnecessary. It simply shares a message with you, and the message is that much has to be cut, only the essential has to be kept. And so, to understand what is essential, Mula brings you to the point where you stop looking outward and start looking inwards. That is how your inward journey begins. And then, as your self inquiry grows, as you start meditating, as you start chanting daily, you realize what is essential, and the rest you simply drop by choice. It all depends on what level of horoscope you have. If you have a typical Baniya level horoscope, meaning materialistic horoscope, then Mula may not suit your system, and then you may simply become frustrated. However, if your horoscope is spiritually inclined, then Mula can truly work wonders in your life. Of course, Mula will do its job of taking you through a roller coaster and giving you many sufferings, but those sufferings and experiences would eventually become a blessing in disguise. A day comes when you simply transform into a wise person, a much matured person. So, if you observe closely, then the whole journey of Ketu's nakshatras, starting from Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, is to simply bring you face to face with the reality of human life. It is to help you realize that this whole circus of human life is useless and there is no end to desires. After one desire ends, another desire would arise, and you would be always seen standing in the queue of desires. So, the message of Ketu is very loud and clear. Start turning inwards, because true lasting happiness is not to be found on the outside but inside you. Those who have listened to this message have truly evolved in their life, and those who haven't are still living a life of many miseries and frustrations. It always depends on the level of your antenna. If your antenna is in good shape, you will be able to tune in to the channel of Ketu. And if your antenna is of poor quality, then all you will see is an error message on the screen of your life. Love to all my close followers. Happy Hanuman Jayanti. I love Hanuman, and all those who love Hanuman are truly devotional by heart, because the other name for Hanuman is devotion, bhakti. Because Hanuman is one of the best example of how a disciple should devote and surrender his life at the feet of his master. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः।